Alright, everybody, we're going to go ahead and do one more game for the Sega Genesis, and that is Jeopardy Deluxe Edition. Let's get right to it.
This is Jeopardy!
And let's see what we have as our categories.
Here are the categories.
Big business, toys and games, G whiz, notice the letter G in quotation marks, hats, insects, and finally, in the news. Alright. These are good categories. I'm going to stick with them, and I'll start with big business for 100. Texas-based department store that publishes a catalog of luxury gifts at Christmas. What is Neiman Marcus?
You are correct.
Big business for 200. In 1917, Andrew Pancini opened the first one of these in LA at 4th and Olive and charged 5 cents a day. What's a parking lot?
You are correct.
Big business for 300. Former Miss America now selling chicken products under the Chicken by George label. Oh, Phyllis Diller? No, Phyllis George Brown. Phyllis George Brown.
You are correct.
These timber eaters can't digest wood by themselves. Organisms in their intestines do it. What are termites?
You are correct.
Insects for 200. Ants use these appendages to touch, taste, and smell. What are antennae?
You are correct.
Let's have 300 please for insects. Because it feeds by using its long snout, this cotton destroyer is also called a snout beetle. What is a boll weevil?
You are correct.
Insects 400. This substance oozes from a bee's pores and forms tiny flakes on the outside of its abdomen. What is wax?
You are correct.
Insects for 500. Painted Lady, Great Purple Street, and Zebra aren't rock bands, but types of these. What are butterflies?
You are correct.
Well done in the insects category. $1,800. Big business for 400. He's given America many cups of tea, but was unable to win the America's Cup in 5 attempts. Who is Sir Thomas Lipton?
You are correct.
Big business for 500. In 1977, the New York Times started this rival to People magazine. Us.
You are correct.
Yeah, I was thinking that, but I didn't want to buzz in. Kurt got it right, though, and he's up to $500. Gee whiz, 100. It can be a type of engineless aircraft or a porch swing. What's a glider?
You are correct.
Gee whiz for 200. In Enid Bagnold's most famous novel, Velvet won this race. What is the Grand National?
You are correct.
Gee whiz for 300. If you were born in January, you may know this is the only birthstone that fits this category. What is a garnet?
You are correct.
Gee whiz 400. Shakespeare's father made these accessories for a living. What are gloves?
You are correct.
Gee whiz for 500. Besides being goddesses, Aglaia, Euphrosyne, and Thalia are these. What are gorgons?
Sorry.
No, that is wrong. They are graces.
You are correct.
Graces, not gorgons. Toys and Games 100. It's advertised as the game that ties you up in knots. I played this game a time or two. What is Twister?
You are correct.
The Barbie doll has a red one of these Italian sports cars. What is a Ferrari?
You are correct.
Toys and Games for 300. Not surprisingly, it's the two-word game of Rodney Dangerfield's board game. What is No Respect?
You are correct.
Toys and Games for 400. After E, these two vowels are the most plentiful letters in Scrabble. What are A and I?
You are correct.
Toys and Games for 500. Of 10, 15, or 20, the number of equal-shaped, wedge-shaped divisions on a regulation dartboard. No.
Sorry.
Kurt got it wrong.
You are correct.
Hats for 100. Oh, it's a daily double. She's gonna go 500. This circular French cap
You are correct.
came back into style when Faye Dunaway wore one in Bonnie and Clyde, and it's a beret. I knew that one. Your high school graduation wouldn't be complete without this square, flat hat with a tassel. What is a mortarboard?
You are correct.
Let's have hats for 300. A member of the PBA, or what the British normally call a derby. What's a bowler?
You are correct.
400. 400, I mean. Sorry. This red felt hat has been the national headdress of Turkey until it was banned in 1925. What is a fez?
You are correct.
Hats for 500. This round woolen cap was named after the title hero of a Robert Burns poem. What's a tam o'shanter?
You are correct.
Up to $5,100, and all that's left is in the news. Surrealist painter who also designed jewelry and theater sets, and who died in January 1989. I'll try it. I'm gonna take a guess and say who was Salvador Dali.
You are correct.
Yep, that is right. 200. He was H. Ross Perot's running mate. It is James Stockdale.
You are correct.
The monarch who now sits on the chrysanthemum throne. Nope.
Sorry.
No.
Sorry. No, the correct response?
Emperor Akihito. Right. In December 1988, an executive proclamation extended U.S. waters to this many miles. $12.
You are correct.
After lengthy hearings, he was appointed as the second black U.S. Supreme Court Justice. Clarence Thomas, yep.
You are correct.
At the end of the Jeopardy round, I have $5,200, Tori $2,400, Kurt -100. So he will make the first selection in.
Double Jeopardy.
There's 2 daily doubles up there, and we're going to put 6 brand new categories.
Here are the categories.
Comic books, Washington, D.C., presidents, famous folks, TV characters, and we'll close it out with U.S. history. All right. It's the present-day successor to the old Federal Radio Commission. What is the FCC?
You are correct.
U.S. history for 400. Number of the Continental Congress which adopted the Declaration of Independence. No.
Sorry.
Oh, the second.
You are correct.
Famous Folks 200. His real name was Eric Hilliard Nelson. Hilliard was his mother's stage name. Who is Ricky Nelson?
You are correct.
Okay, I'll take Famous Folks 400. Most of the songs she sang on her Broadway album were written by Stephen Sondheim. Who is Barbara Streisand? Oops.
You are correct.
Famous Folks for 600. Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis was an editor of the singer's autobiography, Moonwalk. Who is Michael Jackson?
You are correct.
Famous Folks 800. Star of Witness and Top Gun, who owns a restaurant in Key West, Florida. Who is Kelly McGinnis?
Sorry?
Kelly McGillis! Oh. I always get the last name wrong. No.
Sorry?
No.
Sorry? You know the correct response?
Yeah, Kelly McGillis. Not McGinnis. Famous Folks 1000. Stedman Graham is her steady boyfriend. Who is Oprah Winfrey?
You are correct.
U.S. history for 600. A cartoon by Thomas Nathan in 1884 Harper's Spirit Weekly was the first to use an elephant for this party. What is the Republican? Who are the Republicans?
You are correct.
U.S. history for 800. The Liberty Bell cracks July 8, 1835 while tolling this Chief Justice's death. Who is John Marshall?
You are correct.
U.S. history for 1000. In 1860, Erasmus Beadle began to publish a series of novels that sold for this price. What is a 10 cents or a dime?
You are correct.
That's right. Hence, that's why they made dime novels. $9,200. Let's take comic books for 200. In 1941, The Three Musketeers became the first book to be transformed into a comic in this series. Oh, classic comics. Okay.
You are correct.
Didn't know that one. Comic books 400. With rodents as the lead characters, Miami Vice became this title for the comics. What is Miami Mice?
You are correct.
The comic books for 600. A Marvel comic chronicles his adventures on both Earth and Melmac. Nope.
Sorry? You are correct.
Oh, that makes sense, yeah. Alpha's from the planet Melmac. Alright. President's 200. In 1950, he became the first supreme commander of NATO forces in Europe. Who is Harry Truman?
Sorry?
It's not Harry Truman. Oh, it was Dwight Eisenhower.
You are correct.
Okay. TV characters. Daily doubles. And I know that, Tori's gonna wager 1,000. Here's her clue. Two of the best known characters on her CBS show are Eunice Higgins and Mrs. Wiggins, and it's Carol Burnett.
You are correct.
Which I know is right. 50s TV family who lived in New York City for 3 seasons, LA for 1, and finally ended up in Connecticut. Who are the Ricardos?
You are correct.
TV characters for 600. On Soap, he was butler to the Tate family, and on his own show, he did the same for Government Gene Gatling. Who is Benson?
You are correct.
TV characters 800. Every show began with a murder that was neatly solved by this sloppy detective. Who is Columbo?
You are correct.
TV characters for 1,000. When Making the Grade failed in 1982, George Wendt went on to play Norm in this series. What is Cheers?
You are correct.
$12,200. I'll take comic books for 800. In the titles of their current comics, Spider-Man is amazing and the Hulk is this. What is incredible?
You are correct.
Let's have 1,000, please, for comic books. Archie's girlfriend, who has her own comic in which she jet sets around the world. Oh, it's Veronica. Veronica Lodge. Okay.
You are correct.
Okay. Alright. Washington, D.C., 200. Well, Kurt, you can risk up to 1,000. The 2 states which border Washington, D.C., and he knows that it's Virginia and Maryland.
You are correct.
Absolutely right. 8 clues left. Let's get to it. Hoover's request to tap Martin Luther King's phones was approved during his administration. Let's say who was Gerald Ford.
Sorry?
No. Oh wait, no, not Gerald Ford. No. No, Martin Luther King died before Gerald Ford became president, so I'm thinking it was Lyndon Johnson. No, it was JFK, John F. Kennedy. So I would have been wrong regardless.
You are correct.
Kurt goes up to 1,700. The only president born in California, but California doesn't have him to kick around anymore. Who is Richard Nixon? If memory serves correctly, I think he was from Yorba Linda, California. Could be wrong.
You are correct.
Well, I'll do some research later on. I'll take presidents for 800. When Reagan retired to California, he urged repeal of this constitutional amendment. Don't know. Nope.
Sorry.
But at this point, it's a locked game, so I cannot be caught. The 22nd. Alright.
You are correct.
Kurt jumps into second place for now, and we have 5 clues left. On April 5th, 1933, FDR issued an executive order banning hoarding of this metal. Gold. Yep.
You are correct.
That makes sense to me. All that's left is the Washington, D.C. category. Directional name of the largest room in the White House. What's the West Wing?
Sorry.
It's not? The East Wing. No, the East Room.
You are correct.
East Room, so I would have been wrong. Created by Congress in 1846, it's called the Attic of the Nation. What is the Smithsonian?
You are correct.
There we go. That's more like it. 800. So it looks like from this point forward, I cannot be caught. The monument to him is 555 feet, 5 1/8 inches tall. What is the Washington Monument? Or who was George Washington?
You are correct.
Now the last clue. Famous ones in Washington include the National, the Corcoran, and the Freer. What are art galleries?
You are correct.
$15,200. Kurt $3,500. Tori $2,400. As we get ready for Final Jeopardy. The category is Religion E. US-based religion is founded called the scientific system of divine healing. I'll say what is Christian Science.
Know the correct response?
And that is right. So I'm going to go up to $16,000. Everybody got that one right. Tori wagered $1,500. Kurt wagered $900. And we are going to go ahead and wrap it up for this segment. I'm the big winner with $16,000. And I'll see you all for that next segment coming up right after this commercial break. We will be right back.